What's up, y'all? Welcome to another music lesson. Steven is my name, your online music teacher. So, I was teaching a music lesson before this earlier today, and I decided to make a video about something we covered near the middle way of the class earlier. So, I've sometimes have an unconventional or not so mainstream way of teaching music. And one of the reasons I got into teaching music is because I observed other teachers that I was taking lessons from and from substitute teaching at a store for about 10 years. I saw people teaching a certain way and they were pretty good at teaching, but some of the ways that they were presenting the information to me did not get to the fundamentals of music as much as my method that I do now. So what we're going to learn today is, there's these aspects of music when you're learning a song. And I guess the name of this video could be the four elements of every song or something like that. There are exceptions. But what we try to do on this channel is we try to operate in the realm of rules rather than exceptions. So here goes. What we have above us is a badly drawn version of what you would call a lead sheet. Now, if you don't if you don't know what a lead sheet is, don't worry about it. That's not the point of today's class. We will do a full video on what a lead sheet is and why it's one of the better ways. It's, in my opinion, the best way to go about learning pop music when you're getting started out. So what's going on here, you look up here, you have your thing called your clef, you have your time signature, and you have your key signature, which isn't there because we're in the key of C. Even if these things are not foreign to, or excuse me, even if these things are foreign to you, you don't have to worry about them too much because all I'm showing you is what people are going to normally teach you about learning a song. The first things to know about a song are going to be what clef you're in, what key you're in, and what time signature you are in. In my opinion, this is not the only mistake here is to present this as the first information that you should know about songs. Now, if you already have a basis on what music is and the fundamentals, the foundations of what is contained in each song, then you can go ahead and learn these things. Now, when I'm reading music, I have my hymnal over here, I'm going to need to know right away what the time signature is and what the key signature is. But that's because I already have a fundamental foundational understanding of what goes into every song. So here's what I actually present to people when I'm trying to get to the foundations of what it is in every song. It's four different things. And what I have listed here is what you could call the proper term for each one of these four things and the more blue collar or layman's term for each one of these things. And it would not surprise me to know if you have heard of all these things before. In fact, most people have. But as always, I don't know who's watching this video right now, so I'm going to try to present things from the ground up. So number one thing, and these are kind of in no particular order, other than maybe the first one being melody. The song does not come off as the song without the melody. Like you could have the proper chord or harmony or the proper beat and the proper structure to a song like Amazing Grace. But unless you go, those three things below will not tell you that it is Amazing Grace. So in a way, I would argue the melody or the tune of the song is the most important thing that goes into being able to identify the song. But most people know what a melody is. I just hummed one, and it's the tune of the song. You don't have Yankee Doodle Dandy without singing, playing, or somehow expressing the tune for Yankee Doodle Dandy. So the melody is the single line thing that you could hum, you could play it on the piano, you could play it on most instruments, and it's one note at a time. The minute you start involving chords or more than one note at a time, you're dipping into what is called harmony. Now, this might be a little bit controversial, but I'll explain myself. Anytime, harmony, the way that most people learn it is it's the backup notes. I'm singing, and someone will hum or sing some notes either above or below that are not the melody, but they are notes that complement the melody. Now, the reason that it's called chords is because, and this is the thing that kind of gave me the inspiration to do this video today. When you're playing one note or singing one note, and then you're doing another note to accompany it, that's two notes at the same time. Is that not a chord? So, I mean, I don't know if that statement is not controversial, but thinking about the harmony as you're always creating a chord and every chord has a name or at least has some sort of numerical function, that's what harmony is. So far you have the melody, and I can't really hear a harmony in my head right now. My weakest suit in music is singing backup vocals, so forgive me if I spare you guys that. But the harmony is the backup note or notes, thus creating a chord. Again, we have the proper term here on the left, and then we have the more layman's term here on the right. So you have the melody, which is the tune, the harmony, which is the chord. And those two different, here's where it gets a little bit weird. The next two we have here are the rhythm and the form. Now, in a way, melody and harmony are inseparable from rhythm and form. When I'm singing the melody to Amazing Grace, I'm doing so with a certain rhythm. And if I deviate too much from that rhythm, I'm no longer singing the melody, I'm just singing the notes in the melody at the wrong time. Now, there's different ways to express rhythm, like being ahead of the beat and behind the beat and interpreting your own way, but no one would disagree with that, with the fact that if you deviate too much, it will become unrecognizable. Like if I go I mean, that could be some free jazz, something like that, something experimental. But at the end of the day, most people are not going to recognize that as Amazing Grace if you deviate from that too much. At the same way, if I'm doing the melody in a weird time with a bunch of spaces in it, and I do the chords in time, it's also not going to really sync up. You've probably heard this before when someone's singing karaoke, and they don't really know when the lyrics come in, and it kind of sounds like two gears that are not syncing up with each other. So in a way, both the melody, not just in a way, in reality, melody and harmony both have rhythm involved with it, and they both have form or structure involved with it as well. Now, one quick thing, the rhythm and the beat or the timing, there's more than one layman's term for each one of these things, but in my classes, I try to do like a little word association. I say the proper term, and then I associate the layman's term with that, especially if I'm teaching someone pretty young. Maybe they might not even remember the word harmony, so we just say the chord, or whatever. Each student is different, so I try to cater to that. Now, the fourth one is form or structure. Now, this is the one that has the most terms for it. You could call it the form, the structure, the arrangement, the order, and from a true layman's perspective, you could say how the song goes. You're doing the verse for a while, and then it goes to the chorus. That's an example of form or structure. Probably the most simple organized structure of music is just measures, as you see up here. A stanza might be divided into 4 or 8 measures, and those are those little boxes that break up the music. So every song has structure to it. There's not really any songs that just do one note over. Melodies have structure to it. Bum 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 bum. The notes are in a certain order, and that order is dictated by the rhythm. So what I'm really trying to say here is, while these are 4 distinct ideas that you can differentiate, they kind of all work hand in hand, which is why you can think of exceptions and stuff like that. And there are brief moments inside of every song where one of these may drop out. But even when the chord drops out, there usually is a sort of implied harmony behind it. And one day we'll do a video on implied harmony, the existence of an implied chord, even when you're not playing one. A way to kind of prime you for that one is, if you're not counting seconds, if you're not looking at the clock, is time still going by? The answer is obviously yes. So even if the chord stops, the music keeps going, and there's an implication behind the chords right there. It took me a long time to kind of figure that out. And on this channel, you're going to learn from a lot of my old mistakes, even some of my current ones. So there you kind of have it. There are 4 elements that are going on in most songs at all time. There's the melody or the tune. That's the thing that one would sing or play on an instrument one note at a time. You have the harmony or the chord, and those are the backup notes that create the harmony, that create the underbedding or the underbelly of the notes that back up the melody. And you can there's a lot of things you can do with harmony. I'm still learning a ton about harmony, but you can get pretty cool with it. Those are those chord symbols up there if you're looking at a lead sheet. Again, we'll do a full video on what a lead sheet is. There's the rhythm, which is the beat and the timing at which things are happening. And then there's the form, the structure, the arrangement, the order, or how the song goes as far as when things happen one after each other. So again, just back to the beginning of the video, I'm doing this video because I feel that one of the mistakes that a lot of music teachers make is what order they teach stuff in. Usually they're going to get into time signature, key signature, and clef, and you'll start reading notes. And that's not a terrible approach, especially if you're going to get into like classical music and reading all the time. But what I try to do is work prior to that. I'm always thinking about presuppositions and assumptions of the fundamentals and the foundations of music. And much like other videos we've done and more videos that we'll do in the future, is I like to think about terminology and how to execute those things first. Of course, time signature, key signature, and clef these things are gonna have to have a lot to do with those things that I just mentioned. But to me, they're not the first things to cover. And even if you're working with with a kid that's a little bit younger, you're going to introduce these things on day one, but you might not name them right away. That's going to be a case specific thing, but you certainly can get a kid to hum a tune right away. You're going to ask them what their favorite song is. You can show them 3 different notes to play at the same time. You can beatbox for them. Boom. You can get them going on some rhythm. You can ask them to clap. You can ask them, I'm going to hum this, then hum that. Which order did I do it in? So my point is, you as a flexible teacher or as a flexible student, the reason that we learn in systems, that I teach in systems, is because systems forward and back and learning it in all different orders and learning how to skin the cat multiple different ways is how you truly master something. You don't master a system by learning one song at a time and just getting that down. That's learning by addition or multiplication at best. What I try to do is teach by multiplication, learn by exponents, where we're learning how to learn 40 songs at once. Not by opening the book and learning 40 different songs, but by teaching you the fundamental aspects of music that undergird. That was the word I was looking for earlier. I said like underbelly, underpin, that undergird every single song or most songs in history, thereby showing you how to learn by exponents. So I hope this was a good video. Subscribe, leave a comment down below telling me how I did. I've only done about 4 or 5 of these lesson videos now. And let me know how ideas for the next video. I'm going to try to keep these about 10 to 15 minutes worth of content. I definitely take inspiration from you guys in the comment section telling me individual things to make videos on. But that's about it. Those are the 4 aspects, in my opinion, my teaching style, of every single song you're ever going to learn. Share this out, and I'll see you guys next time.